I'm Clint Grover with Never Done Industries, and today I'm going to talk to you about winter driving. Step number one, get prepared. You need to check your vehicle over and make sure that it's winter ready. If you have a rear-wheel drive vehicle, you need to consider throwing some weight over the wheels. A couple of sandbags or an old transmission, something like that, in the back of the pickup or in the trunk, whatever you've got, is going to help your traction tremendously. Now, front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive vehicles are typically a little bit better suited for slippery conditions, so it's not really as big of an issue for them. One of the most important components of winter driving is your tires. You really need to take a look at them. Now, we're not going to get into the ins and outs of tires in this video. That's a whole separate video all its own. But basically, if you're running old, slick, worn-out tires, some high-speed street or race tires, mud terrains, something like that, you're probably going to spend a lot more time slipping and sliding than you are getting where you're trying to go. You really need to consider some winter tires, or at bare minimum, run down to the tire store, have them sipe yours. It's less than $15 a tire, and it makes an absolute world of difference. Alright, the last part of getting prepared is to check your windshield washer fluid. One, you need to make sure there's some in there, and two, you need to make sure it's a winterized fluid so it melts the ice. You don't want to be cruising down the highway, have a semi blow past, cover your windshield, and you can't get that baby clean. Step number two, know the conditions. Take a look at your current temperature. If it's below 32 degrees, then what was water is now ice. What could make that even worse is if you have ice that started to thaw, now has water on it, it's going to be slicker than shinola. If it's snowing, turn on your headlights so the other cars can see you. If your vehicle is equipped with four-wheel drive, it's a good idea to lock it in before you leave, because it's pretty hard to do when you're flipping donuts down the highway. There we go. You might be asking yourself, well, Clint, how am I going to know if it's slippery or not? Well, when you're safely away from other traffic and at low vehicle speed, you can blip your throttle or bump your brakes a little bit, see if your tires slip. Alright, step number three, don't drive like an idiot. When you're leaving a stop, you want to ease into the throttle. If you spin your tires on snow, it'll create ice. Spin your tires on ice, it'll create super slippery ice and your car no go forward. Now, slipping and sliding are commonplace during the winter, so you'd better be ready for some fishtailing action. Now, if you're cruising down the road and your rear end starts to catch up with your front end, first thing you want to do is let off the throttle. Typically, that's enough to straighten you back out. Now, occasionally, the rear end will get too far out of whack and you're going to end up having to use some steering. First thing you want to do, let off the throttle. Second thing you want to do is you want to steer into it. So if the rear end's going this way, steer that way. What that'll do is instead of letting it go like this, it'll catch it up, you'll go sideways a little bit, you'll straighten it out. Now, do not slam on the brakes when the rear end of your vehicle is out. It's going to lock up the front brakes, and buddy, let me tell you, you're going for a spin. Alright, now that we've talked about winter starts, we need to talk about winter stops. You want to start slowing down way before you actually have to stop. Stop signs and stop lights are notorious for being icy because every ding-dong before you spun his tires to get going. You're going to want to creep up to the stop or you're going to slide right through it. Alright, when you're braking, if you noticed your vehicle slipping out on you, like that, what you need to do is you need to slowly let off your pedal and bring it back on easy. Typically that'll straighten it out and it'll stop the vehicle. It's just because you're on ice. Now if it doesn't, then what you want to do is you want to slowly pump on and off of it until it straightens your vehicle out and stops it. Now let's just say you chose not to follow my advice on winter braking and you're currently white knuckling your steering wheel and you got both feet pushed on the brake pedal and you're sliding through an intersection. It's time for the old neutral bump. What's a neutral bump? It's when you bump your gear selector up into neutral, taking power away from the driven wheels, greatly increasing the braking effect of the vehicle, and even more so increasing your chances of stopping your vehicle before fire and death and bad things happen. Now the last part of step number 3 is to slow down. If you brake 45 miles an hour on slick roads, you are an idiot. Four-wheel drive does not mean four-wheel stop, and you're going to end up in a ditch if you end up having to suddenly turn or stop, or if you happen upon some black ice. Most winter accidents are caused by people that are driving too fast for the conditions. I can guarantee you that it's not faster to haul ass and then end up waiting for a tow truck or an ambulance than it would have been just to drive slow in the first place.
Don't be stupid.
Step number 4, play in the snow. Go find yourself an empty parking lot covered in snow and ice and go do some donuts. Not only is it fun as hell, but it's also very helpful in getting a good feel for the handling characteristics of your vehicle. Beyond that, it also helps take the edge off of real spinouts because you already know what your vehicle is going to do. Now, watch out for the cops. They're typically not into this particular type of donut. So either ask permission first or just don't get caught. Alright, now that you're an educated winter driving expert, don't do any of this shit. Never Done Industries is an automotive lifestyle company. Our goals are to show you cool shit and then teach you how to do it. Head over to our website at www.neverdoneusa.com to see what we're all about. And before you click to the next video, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.